Hi, Anson Garcia. Today we're going to take a look at Cisco Expressway C's and E's and particularly how we do certificates on those servers. Now, every time I have to do this, and it's not been many, it's been maybe 10 times over the last 5, 7 years or something like that. Every time I have to do it, I forget how to do it, and I have to piecemeal some documentation, some YouTube videos, and things like that. Shout out to INE, they've actually done a fairly good job, but they're missing some things, particularly what's going on in the Microsoft CA server, how we need to add authentication client in a server template, and things like that. So I'm going to give you everything you need to do to get your traversal up using Microsoft CA and get your public cert sign from GoDaddy. So that'll give you the whole enchilada. So if you need to see everything at one time real easily, how everything works together and what encryption and certificates need to be signed, I'm going to give you that in this video. So let's go over the whiteboard and I'll give you a 1,000-foot view of what we're going to do. Okay, let's take a look at the 3 encryption connections that you need. One is the one between the UCM and the Expressway C. This one is optional. Okay. 2, the one between the C and the E. All right. This one is mandatory. And then 3, that's 2, 3, the one between the E and the N device, whether that's going to be Jabber, WebEx Teams running in UCM mode, or a Cisco IP phone. This one is also mandatory. Okay, let's talk a little bit about each one of these. The optional one, let's just throw that one away. Okay, we're going to throw that one away. We're not going to do that one. The one between the Expressway C and the Expressway E, it's not public. There's nothing public about it out. It's not on the internet or anything like that. It is in the DMZ. So that tells you that we can use an internal CA or OpenSSL or something like that, where we're creating our own private key. It's not a public key. It's not going to GoDaddy or anything like that. And then 3, the encrypted tunnel that's out here on the public internet, that's going to be between Expressway E and Cisco Jabber or WebEx Teams running in UCM mode. And let's just talk about these two for a second. You'll hear people say that this is mandatory. It's mandatory that there needs to be encryption. It's not mandatory that you need a public signed certificate here. Why is that? Well, you know, on any computer that Cisco Jabber runs on, or WebEx Teams, or even mobile phones, you can install a certificate. Okay, you can install a root certificate, so you can further or add to the certificate trust list that these live on. So now let's take the phone for example. Okay, the phone is hard coded. There's a certificate trust list in the phone, and one of the ones it has, one of the root trust CAs that it has, is GoDaddy, as well as a bunch of others. So once you introduce a phone, therein lies the hard stop as far as using some kind of internal certificate authority. All right, your own certificate authority. You have to use a public certificate authority there. So that is kind of distinguishing factor. Now, obviously, if you're getting up a lab or something like that, you know, you can make this work. You know, this, you know, these guys right here, you can make that work because you can install a certificate, or you can, you know, click through, you know, it's going to complain and say, hey, it's untrusted, you know, blah, blah, blah. You can click through that, or you can install the certificate somehow on that PC or Mac. Again, once you want to do phones here, that's going to lead you down the path where you're going to need a public certificate, even if it's a lab environment. Now, let me talk a little bit further about that. Do you want to use a internal CA to sign the certificate of the Expressway E? Probably not. Probably you want to do a public signed certificate and get that Expressway signed by a public CA, because if you start doing anything other than you know, Jabber or WebEx Teams or whatever, if you're going to do B2B federation, B2B calling, maybe you're calling using WebEx Edge and calling entities in the WebEx cloud, video calling the WebEx meetings, anything like all that stuff is going to fail because you need a public certificate. Because once you start configuring these other things, B2B, federation, or anything like that, that's when things are going to fall apart. So what I'm saying to you is go get a public certificate. If you're playing around in the lab or something like that, do these guys connect in the call manager, then by all means you can get it signed by an internal CA. Just as an overview, I have an internal Windows Enterprise CA. We're going to be looking at that in a minute. We're going to create a CSR from the Expressway C, and we're going to go get it signed from the Windows Enterprise CA. Then we're going to download that certificate, that signed certificate, back on the C, and we're also going to put the Windows CA root cert on the C. So we're going to have two things that we're going to put on there. Okay, what about the Expressway E? Let's move over to the Expressway E. Well, the one thing we're going to need is we're going to need the Windows CA root cert. Root cert of that guy. Again, we're going to get that signed over there. We're going to put the root cert here and the signed cert there. Okay, root and signed. And then the root cert we're also going to put there. Now we're going to do something similar on the other side. That's going to get this connection up. Okay, let's turn our attention to this connection out here. We're going to have, Jabber, WebEx Teams, maybe phones or whatever. We're going to go CSR, get it signed there, bring that back, install it there. So this is the CSR or server cert, sometimes we call it that. And then we're going to get their root cert also, and we're going to put it there. Root cert, root CA cert. And then we're also going to put that root cert over here. In other words, the CSRs, one's going to be signed by GoDaddy, the Expressway E. The Expressway C is going to be signed by the internal CA, saving some money. And then both root certs from both CA entities are going to be put on both the Expressway C and the Expressway E. Okay? So that's how that works. So let's take a look at it. Okay, let's go over to our Cisco CA server. And one thing I want to say here is for mutual TLS to work, and that's what these two entities are going to do, the Expressway C and Expressway E, a certificate must be capable of being used as a client certificate as well. So this will then allow the Expressway to authenticate as a client device to a neighboring server and vice versa. So we're using mutual TLS here, and that's why this next step needs to be done in your Windows Server Enterprise CA. What I'm going to do is go over to Tools. We got our console open up here for certificates. We're going to go over to Certificate Templates. I'm going to right mouse click. I'm going to Manage. Click Manage. And then from here I'm going to find the web server. That's the server side. And I'm going to click Duplicate Template. So I want to duplicate this template, and then we're going to publish this template in our CA certificate directory so we can use it. I'm going to give it a name. Let's say copy of web server. I'm going to say plus add client, and I'll give it my name there. All right, we can choose whatever we want. If we're doing this internally and we're doing this on Expressways, you may choose to change this to 5 years or something like that. So I'd say 5 years, okay? And then we want to go over to extensions. In extensions, we're going to click Edit. And then we're going to click, we see that we have the server authentication policy in this template. I'm going to add, and we want to add the client authentication. Click OK there. Click OK here. We're going to apply there. We're going to click OK. Now we're done creating the certificate template. All right, there it is right there. All right, I'll go ahead and close this. We're going to go back to our certificate authority console. We're going to right mouse click here. On certificate templates, we're going to click New and Certificate Template to Issue. All right, we're going to do that, and you're going to find, there it is. That's the one I just created right there. And we see it has server and client authentication. We're going to click OK here, and that's it. Once we got that, we're done with the creating of the template that we need to use to sign the certificate from these expressways. Okay, now we're going to browse over to our Microsoft Active Directory Certificate Service web portal. And remember I said we need to put the CA root cert on both the Expressway C and E, the internal CA root cert. We browse over to the CA web portal. We're going to download a CA certificate right here. All right, we're going to choose base 64. That's what our expressways need. And we're going to download the certificate. Let's go ahead and show this in folder. And there it is. It's in my downloads directory. Okay. Now we want to go over to the Expressway C. We're going to go to Security, Trusted CA. This is the trust list. So these are the CAs that we're going to trust. And we're going to choose a file. And remember, it downloaded as cert new, this guy right here. So we'll go ahead and open that. And we'll append the CA cert. Uploaded it, okay. That's it for the Expressway C. Now we need to hop over to the Expressway E. And we're going to do the same thing. Let's go over Security, Trusted CAs. Pay no attention to all these other CA root certs I have in here. I have a bunch of stuff going on in this particular expressway, so we're going to pretend this is all new. All right, there we go. We're going to choose File. We're going to go over to that cert new. Okay, we're going to append. And there we go. Let's find it in here. Where did it go? There it is, right there. All right, so there it is. So we're good to go as far as the root certs from our internal Windows Server CA being on our two expressways. Again, if we were in a cluster, we would do it to multiple machines here. The process would be the same. Let's go over here now and let's create a CSR from our Expressway C. Remember, the Expressway C, we're going to get signed from the internal CA that we're just messing with. So we're going to go over to maintenance, we're going to security, server cert. Okay, and right here we're going to generate the CSR. Okay, so let's generate the CSR. We're going to have to put some information in here. All right, additional names. That's going to be a conference server. This is when you're doing federation, XMPP federation, and you're doing group chats. This is where this comes into play. Unified phone security templates. I don't have any of that. I think we're good. If we had a cluster here, obviously I would put my cluster. I want to change that. I don't need that there. That's all looks good. That's all I need. Okay. So let's generate the CSR. Okay. Now when we do the CSR, one of the things that happens in the background is this private key is generated. So this is the benefit of using a portal like this, instead of using like OpenSSL where you have to generate your private key and stuff like that. So it makes it kind of idiot proof, and they do some things under the covers for you. All right, so we got the private key, it's already saved in there. What we're going to do is we're going to download this CSR now. Okay, let's download the CSR. There it is there. We're going to let's open it. Okay, and you can see it's a bunch of gibberish here. All right, we're going to take this gibberish. We're going to edit. We're going to copy that to our clipboard. All right, let's put that away. Let's go over to our Microsoft Active Directory portal right here. And we're going to go back to home. Excuse me, not Microsoft Active Directory portal, but the Active Directory Certificate Authority portal. And we're going to request a certificate. We're going to use the advanced certificate request, and we're going to paste that gibberish right in there. Okay, now our certificate template we're going to use. Remember, we need the client and server policy, right? And remember, we created one. It's going to be right in here. There it is. That's the one I created. That's the one I created right there. Additional attributes, we don't need any of that. We're going to submit that. And we're going to download the certificate in base 64 encoded format. Okay, let's download. We're going to keep. There it is. It's cert new 1. Okay, we're going to go back over to the Expressway. It's waiting. We're going to choose a file. We're going to go to cert new 1. We're going to open that guy. And we're going to upload the server certificate. All right. And we're going to have to restart. Okay, and we can show that. Let me just show you the certificate that's now loaded in here. Okay. If you need to pause the video to take a look at any of this stuff, go ahead. All right, you can see our SANs there. You can see issue 2, or our subject. There's our guy right there. Okay, so let's go over to restart. Okay, we've restarted. We'll go ahead and log back in. Okay, now at this point I want to go back to the drawing real quick and just review what we just did. Okay, what we've done is we've completed this portion right here. All right, so I'm not saying that should come up yet, but I'm saying it's complete. All right, we put the root cert here and here. We created a CSR and we went and got it signed there, and then we uploaded it back there. Okay, that completes that traversal. Now you would think it would come up. Now I have seen instances where it doesn't come up, and you have to have a everything done on this guy over here. All right, I don't know why. There's some things behind here that I don't understand, but suffice to say that I have seen that the traversal won't come up unless you got the same thing done over here, the CSR done, and also the root cert from whoever signed this thing over on the E and C as well. So let's continue. Okay, now the portion we're going to do is this portion right here. Now I want to reiterate that you don't need GoDaddy certificates. You don't need publicly signed certificates for these two to work, Cisco Jabber and WebEx Teams in UCM mode. Remember, we can go do the same thing and get the CSR signed over there on the Windows Enterprise CA server. However, we're gonna get some errors. You know, if this is not a lab environment, it's going to be a little sketchy. You're going to have to click OK because it's going to say invalid certificates and all this stuff. Now you can deploy those certificates to those PCs or Macs or mobile, whatever. But anyway, you don't want to do this, but if you're in a lab or something, you can certainly do it and make it work. Now that's not going to work. Remember, phones aren't going to work because the certificate trust list is embedded, and there's no way that I know of to this date to inject or put root certs inside of those phones so you can expand that and like get your own internal CA cert on there or something like that. So just wanted to do that. Let's continue on. Let's go get our CSR. Let's go to GoDaddy, get that cert signed, and let's go ahead and upload that cert to E. And then we're also going to get the root cert from GoDaddy and put that on the E and the C. Okay, we're going to head over to the Expressway E. We're going to go to Maintenance, Security, server certificate. Okay, once we're in here, we're going to generate the CSR. Now, I already have a CSR here, and it's already valid. I've already been through this process, but I'm going to take you through it anyway. So we're going to generate this CSR. Now, the great thing about the Expressway is it's going to do the private key for you. So this private key is going to be packaged in with this download that we're going to do in a second. So we don't have to generate a private key. You want your cluster name in here. You want definitely the domain name. You want your conference server if you're doing XMPP Federation. You know, things like that you want in here if you're going to get it publicly signed, right? Because it's going to be doing other things other than just MRA. So I'm going to leave everything default here. I'm going to put US. This has to be all caps here. I'll put my local town here. Okay, and that is it. We're going to generate the CSR. Okay, you can see here on upload new certificate, you can see the system will use a private key generated at the same time of the CSR. That's why you don't have to do a private key, because it's packaged in here. Okay, we would download this file here. All we got to do is open that up. It's going to come up in our notepad. We're going to select all. We're going to copy all of this, right? And we can do that, do away with that. We're going to go over to GoDaddy. We would go to GoDaddy, go to My Products. Now you'd purchase a new SSL, and the SSL that you want to purchase is the standard UCC SSL up to 5. That's up to 5 additional SAN names. Okay, so I have one already for this. Here it is right here. Now if I was rekeying, I would do this like if it expired or something like that. And if it was brand new, it would say, you know, standard UCC SSL. It wouldn't have anything here. It said, hey, it's ready to go, you know, click setup. So I'm going to manage this one because this is going to take you through almost the same process. And I'm going to go to rekey, and then I'm going to paste in what I have in my clipboard, and then I would add the change. Right after I add that change, I would submit all changes. Now if it was new, it would just say, you know, save or something like that. It's just that I'm rekeying here, and then that would be really it. I'd say okay, and then after a little validation period, it takes usually 10 minutes or so, then it's going to come back and I'm going to be able to download my file. It's going to send me an email, something akin to, I think I have one here. Yeah, here we go. So I'll say something like this. The SSL for Expressway E has been renewed, blah, 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 blah. It's ready for download. Okay, so after that, after you get that email, you're going to come over here and select Other and download the file. What this file is going to have in it, I'm going to go ahead and extract this all, show those, close this one over here. It's going to have the bundle, so this is the server CA, the root cert. Okay, and it's going to have your server cert, the one that just got signed that you're going to put on the Expressway. Okay, so what I would do is come back over to Expressway, and then I would choose the file, and I'm going to choose, not the bundle, but this guy. That's the server cert right there. In fact, we can take a look at it. Double click it, open it, and you can see here that's my domain name for my Expressway E in my lab here. Okay, and then we can see the SANs that we put in down here. Remember, you're going to need your cluster name, your conference if you're doing group chat, your host name, and then your domain. and any other domains also if you're using different domains. That's another topic altogether, but that's it. So we would go over here, we'd choose the file, I'd choose that file right there, and then I'd upload it. Okay, I'm not going to do it here because I've already done it, but and then that's it. It'll go to not secure cert or something. You'll have to refresh the page. You'll have to restart the server. After that's done, I'm going to go ahead and discard the CSR. And before you reboot, obviously you're going to have to upload also the root cert. So we go to security, trusted CAs. We're going to trust GoDaddy here. We'd say append. Oh, excuse me. We're going to choose a file first. We're going to choose this bundle file. All right, and I can do this. It's going to just overwrite the other one. Let's see. Choose. We're going to do that. There we go. Append. It shouldn't bark at me here. There we go. Okay. And it went right in there. Okay. And it just overwrote the other one. And then there's an expired one here. That's the temporary one. This is the one that came with it. So don't pay attention to that. So then we go back to the Expressway C. We log in here. What do we do here? Same thing. We're going to trust GoDaddy. So we have to upload these root certs in here. And we choose the file. We're going to choose that bundle, right? And we're going to append. Let that go. There it is. And then at this point now, you are pretty much ready to reboot. Everything's going to come up. Your traversal will come up. We'll go take a look at the traversal here. Of course, it was up before. I've already done this, but there's the traversal client. There it is. Now, there's other things to do, obviously, to get all this stuff working, but this is just the certificates and kind of explaining what goes on here. So, hey, I hope this has been helpful, and thanks for watching.